Well, we're out here on a nice sunny day in Ohio. I'm going to take a closer look at this old wheel horse. I'm going to take the hood off and take a look at how the throttle system works on this. Alright, here it is with the hood off. I tried to make these engines as close to the same as possible. Found the same castings. Even told the machine shop guy what I was going to do, and want to try to keep them identical. The choke system is a lot simpler than the throttle system. Take a look at that first. That's just separate choke cables, one going to each engine for separate control. I did have to extend the cable to reach that front engine. So we're looking at the throttle control side. Part of what makes this work is you have to have a rigid connection between the two engines. So that's what this rail is. I have an arm going down to the factory connection where the throttle normally works. Same way with this side. There's an arm on this side that goes down so that they're both pulling up at the same time. When I pull the throttle cable, it actually moves both of these arms at the same time in that direction to turn the throttle rods. Alright, we're looking at the other side now. You might have noticed that there's two throttle controls on the dashboard, but each one of those don't go to each engine. I'm using one for the main throttle control, and I use the second to select which engine that throttle has control of, because you want them connected together. When it's warmed up, you want them working simultaneously. But for cold weather, for starting, you want separate control so that you can start each engine and get it warmed up. On a warm day, or after it's already warmed up, you generally don't need to disconnect them like that. So really it's just for cold startup conditions when you need separate control. So this is the mechanism that makes that happen. I'm going to work the controls so you can see how it works. One of the cables which selects which block moves. If you notice, the left block is connected to the left rail and the right block is connected to the right rail. And these little gates allow me to select which block I am connected to. I can select one or the other or both. So when I move the main throttle cable, see, that simply moves that whole mechanism right there. So both throttles are staying in sync. Now my other one, I can pull to one side. And now when I work this main throttle control, I'm only working one block. I move back to the center. Those are spring-loaded to return into the gate. Now they're connected again. If I go the other way, I can disconnect that block. Separate control of that engine. Back to the center. And the spring-loaded gate has to close on both so that you're back in sync. So I tried a few different methods of doing this, and this is not the first try. I had to redo a number of things. All of this mechanism has to be rigidly attached to the frame so that you don't get any flex between the two engines. Well, I moved the tractor around in the sun so you can see this side here. In order to get your engines running the same speed, this is my fine adjustment. Now you could loosen up these arms on the shaft and rotate them, but that's not very accurate and you always lose your spot. So I made up this piece with a screw coming in from each side to help me adjust the offset between the two. So this is really a small bending arm. This arm right here bends a little bit so that the tip of this can move up and down to change the effective length of this rod here. Well, as I mentioned before, I don't really need to use separate control on a warm day. But I'll go ahead and do it and demonstrate how it works. Now I need to disconnect the clutch system. So that the engines are not connected together. So I'm going to start the front engine first. So I got control of the front engine. Select the back engine, the rear engine. There we have control of the rear engine. We'll connect them together. All right, that's it.